Did you know every choice that you make decides whether or not you go deeper into this illusion or you rise further above it? Well, if you want to stick around today, I'm going to tell you something that may change everything about how you view your life and how you make the choices that you do. Hi everybody, welcome to the Light Journal podcast. I'm Jamie Perez. Light and dark. If you're anything like me, it's synonymous in your head with the ideas of good and evil. But it's not. There's nothing inherently better about light or better about dark. It's just two parts of the same thing. Most of us may prefer daytime, but if we don't have night, we don't have a chance to rejuvenate. We don't have a chance to recover from the things that we experience during our day. So then day and night, or light and dark, are both essential to our well-being. One of the things that we tend to forget is that everything has two different directions: up and down, in and out, forward and back, light and dark, good and bad. But wait a minute, good and bad? Do I really want to include good and bad in my list of opposites? Because those are more judgment statements. Those aren't objective statements. In and out, up and down, forward and back. Those are all pretty objective. But are they objective? When is something in and when is something out? Does it depend upon your perspective? I'm in this room, but according to somebody else, I'm outside of their space. And I am on the second floor as I'm recording this, so I am up the stairs. But if somebody's flying above me, then I am below them. Wow. I mean, when you start thinking about it, what is objective? It seems to me that all of these dichotomies are really just a matter of perspective. They're not objective at all, except in terms of point of view. Point of view then becomes the most important part of the equation. It's not whether or not I'm up or down, in or out, backwards or forwards. It's where am I in relation to those other things. I know that might be a strange way to start this conversation, but what if the things that we think are so very different from one another is just a matter of perspective? On the surface, on the form level, yeah, they look different from one another, but when we start going deeper, they all start looking more and more alike. For that matter, by the time we get down to the cellular level, and then to the molecular level, and then to the atomic level, and eventually down to the quantum level, there's no difference between anything at all. So it's just a matter of perspective. Ultimately, are we looking at things just on the surface? Is that the way that we judge whether or not something is real, something is illusion, something is solid, something is fluid? Is it just based on the surface level? What if we want to go a little deeper? What if we want to look at things all the way down at the quantum level? Well, then there's no difference between air and water, no difference between a human and a plant. There's no difference between the solar system and the sun. There's no difference between anything. When you go down to a quantum level, all differences just disappear and we're all exactly the same thing. We're just photons, quarks, and leptons. So everything that we consider to be reality is just a matter of perception. It's a matter of how real we want to think something is, because ultimately everything is illusion. Ultimately, which takes me to the topic that I'm actually going to discuss, and it's the idea of light and dark. Light and dark on a surface level look very, very different. On a surface level, you know it's light because you can see. You know it's dark because you can't. In the light, things don't look scary. In the light, everything is clear and concise, and you have a long range vision. When it's dark, everything's a lot closer to you. You see the shadows, you get afraid, you begin to feel yourself to be alone, because the deeper into the shadows you go, deeper into the dark you go, the less you can see outside of your own self. And so fear abounds because you cannot see. That means you don't know what's out there, and that creates a feeling of fear. But this is all about a perception. We are looking once again at the surface level. At the surface, light and dark are very different things. But if you go down to a quantum level, they're exactly the same thing. It's just how they appear in form. It's about the illusion of light, the illusion of dark. Okay? If you're following me still, I'm going to make this actually applicable to our daily lives. So then light becomes the illusion of sight, the illusion of perception, the illusion of being able to perceive your environment clearly. And because you can see it, you can make choices that are not only in your best interest, but in the interest of all those that you see around you. Whereas in the dark, in the perception of darkness, you can't see those things. So you make choices that are only in your own best interest. You make choices that protect you from the things you cannot see. So that's the light, that's the dark. They're both just a matter of our perception of our environment. A lot of people know about the story of the Garden of Eden and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But you have similar trees in Norse mythology, Celtic mythology, in Hinduism, and in Islam, amongst other religions and belief systems. It's because the tree is often seen as a symbol for describing the nature of our reality. And one of the reasons it's so good at doing that is because of how a tree functions. You have the canopy of the tree that's high up in the air. It's exposed to the sunlight. It is the least affected by the ground environment. And then you have the trunk of the tree. It's firm and it's solid, and it's what we as human beings often use to create things with. It's the material we use for making fires as well as building homes and tools. For a lot of human history, wood was the most critical component that you could have in order to successfully navigate this world. And then you have the root system. And the roots are what enables the tree to stand upright, even though it's massive. Those roots are so deep into the soil that it can withstand storms of immense magnitude. And it also provides the nutrients that allow that tree to exist for hundreds of years, sometimes even thousands of years. The roots are the only thing that keeps that tree alive. A tree is not going to stay alive if it doesn't have some sort of a root system. With that in mind, I'd like to share with you the shamanic perspective of what this tree represents for us and our reality. The canopy of the tree is high up. Sometimes it could be hundreds of feet up in the sky, because it's constantly seeking the light of the sun. It's constantly in pursuit of that photosynthesis reaction that feeds the tree. Well, that canopy of the tree is often known as heaven or the upper realm, depending on what religious tradition you're referencing. This is the realm of spirits and angels and light beings. all kinds of ascended masters. This is the place where, although it's part of the world, nonetheless, it's a step above the normal world experience. It's a place that there's a higher perspective. From the top of the tree, you can see the whole forest. From the top of the tree, you have an unimpeded view of the sun. From the top of the tree, you really understand the big picture, right? And then you have the roots of the tree. The roots of the tree dig deep into the earth. They're in a place of darkness. But in this place of darkness, they're drawing all the nutrients and water and solidity that they need to keep that tree upright. They are known, that area is known as the lower realm. Spirits that dwell in the root system of the tree are managing the illusion of our reality. They're managing the form, the functions, the laws of the universe. This is where you find the spirits that are creating the animals, the planets, the suns, the solar system. This is where you find the spirits of the air, the water, the fire, the minerals, right? The roots support the structure of the entire tree. Now, between the roots and the canopy is the trunk of the tree. That tree trunk, that represents our reality. That is where all the illusionary forms and the spiritual consciousness meet together and create our experience of reality. That's why the trunk is known as ordinary reality or the ordinary world. We are being fed by the illusions of the roots. We are also being fed by the energy of the sun that feeds the leaves, that feeds us. So that's the higher consciousness that's come and merged with form to create us, humanity, and all the other creatures, and the earth itself, the universe, all of it fall within the trunk of the tree. This is the tool that Spirit uses to experience reality. The roots sustain the entire structure, which means the illusion is not just in the roots, it's in the trunk, and it's also in the canopy of the tree. And what dwells in the canopy of the tree? Light beings. So all of our spiritual experiences, whether they're from the upper world or from the lower world, are part of the illusion. This may be a new concept for a lot of you. I know it was a new concept for me when Spirit showed it to me. I didn't understand it first, but it began to make sense when I realized that the entire tree is the illusion. At a quantum level, there is no difference between the canopy of the tree, the trunk of the tree, and the roots of the tree. They're all part of the same illusion that enables us to experience what it feels like to move up into a state of enlightenment or to move down into a state of deeper illusion. We have a choice, and we make those choices every day, which one of those experiences we want to emphasize. Neither one is better than the other. They both provide learning. They both provide experiences. They're both something that enables us, when we finish this life experience, to have gained some benefit from our life experience. Now, there are some differences in how we perceive life, though, based on whether we're moving up into the upper canopy or we're moving down into the roots. Our life experience is going to be very different because it's all about perception. Remember, when you move up the tree, you're getting closer to that canopy level. And you could say it's rising above the fog, if you want to look at it that way. So when you move up the tree, this reality has less and less influence upon you. As you move up the tree, you become more and more conscious of your consciousness, of the unity of everything, and of how this illusion is just that, an illusion, which you can rise above and see more clearly from that higher perspective. And that gives us one type of human experience. But we may choose to do the other type of human experience. We may choose to go deeper down into the illusion itself, so far down into the illusion, we begin to feel as though we are on our own, that we're disconnected from everybody and everything. We become afraid because we don't feel like there's anything supporting us. And that fear then begins to act out. We start behaving in ways which is harmful not only to ourselves but to those around us. We become very self-protective. We lose track of who we truly are. And our identity, knowing who we truly are, is essential to really navigating and managing this experience. But regardless of how far we go into the illusion, we're never actually lost, because it is an illusion. And whether we go up into the canopy or go down into the roots, we're still participating in this illusion. We're still going to learn from it. Once we've completed our time in the illusion, we leave the illusion, or at least we leave the boundaries of the illusion. The reason that the upper canopy is still part of the illusion is because all of our sense of self, all of our sense of me, myself, and I, that's an illusion. Even on the spirit side, that's still an illusion. We are one entity that has subdivided itself into a multitude of entities so as to experience physicality and to learn through play. And that's what we really are. We're extensions of the divine, being given ego and personality so that we can experience life. So regardless of whether or not you are moving up into the canopy or you're moving down into the roots, you're divine, regardless. But what I can say to you is, if you're not enjoying your life, if this isn't what you want for yourself, if you want something different, you surrender to the flow that takes you into the higher consciousness, if that is what you desire, or surrender to the flow that takes you deeper into the illusion. But you are choosing. You are making that choice every day, all day long. Every choice you make takes you one of those two directions. You're not helpless. You're not hapless. You are in control. And if you want a different life experience, then surrender to the flow that will take you into that different life experience. Because you're divine and you get to choose. If you found this video to be helpful, please like and subscribe so other people can find this video as well. And if you have any questions that you'd like me to explore or ask Spirit, I'd be more than happy to do so. Just leave a comment below. Blessings on your journey, everyone. Bye.